What is going on, guys? Dinner Brothers All Gaming with my review of Soda Online Season 2, Episode 6. And this episode right here, it was definitely decent. Now, I do wish that fight between Sinon and Kirito, I wish that right there was better because Kirito won that battle pretty easily. But overall, the episode itself, I don't hate it. It was enjoyable, but like I said, to me it could have been better. But the episode itself, it continued off from last week, and we see now that like Death Gun here, he is still wondering if like Kirito, well the Kirito that he had before him, if the real thing or that someone using his name, but it pretty much does not matter to him because we have Death Gun saying that like someday he will definitely kill Kirito, and so we see now that when Death Gun leaves, Kirito, he is just so shaken up. You see now that it's like really getting to him because we actually learned that like back in SAO, Kirito actually had, a pretty good run-in with Laughing Coffin because we go back to the flashback and we see now that it's like Kirito, Asuna, Klein, and I forgot that group, but I believe it's called like the Blood or something. Like we had all these groups and soldiers. They like pretty much were like tracking down Laughing Coffin because they want to put an end to what they were doing, and so pretty much they had learned about where their secret base was. But when they were going there, we see now that they're like Laughing Coffin because we heard some guys laughing, and when Kirito had looked up, we see now that like Laughing Coffin actually came to them, and they actually made the first move by like getting the jump on them because we saw them already going in for attacks. So that right there was surprising, but now we see how like this all-out battle is going out. Because right now, they kind of have to kill Laughing Coffin because if they don't, then they will kill them because they're red players. So it's not like they have some problem with like killing them, and so we see fights here and there. And this right here is what kind of annoyed me. Because we see at one point there's like the 3 men around the one person, and we see now that they want this guy to surrender, and because he has like such little HP left that he would die in like one attack. And for some reason, all three of these men, they like dropped their guards and they allowed this guy to come in there and just kill them. I was just sitting there, kind of dumbfounded because you like warn this guy. You see now that he is definitely not going out that easily, and yet you all still drop your guard because he took him out. And after he took out those 3 men, because you could hear them, screaming, that right there, like those screams have caught Kirito's attention, and we see now that when he looks over at them, he see those men, they're like fading out, and we still have this one member left. But when he charges in after fighting against Kirito, we see now that like Kirito here, he finished them off, but the way he did it, it was just so brutal because we saw him, cut off his head, and that right there was crazy. That right there was like pretty freaking intense. And so now after that, we see now, back in Gun Gale, Kirito is just, like so out of it. He's just so shaken up because he has no idea who it is. Like obviously, it is somebody from Laughing Coffin, but he can't tell who. Because after that little battle they had, between all the members, I believe it was like 20 people, and Laughing Coffin died, and Kirito killed 2 of them. But on Kirito's side, they also lost 10 players. But Laughing Coffin here, they were definitely weakened. And so right now, like Kirito's wondering who it could be, and obviously it cannot be 2 of the guys he killed because we all know that once you died in SAO, you're like gone for good. But I will say that one thing that surprised me is like we got this still shot, and you see Klein, I believe that's how you say his name. We see him actually killing someone, and that right there, was a bit surprising to me because I thought, he would be useless. But if he went in there and took some lives, that right there is a pretty big step up. But now we see that like Kirito's out of it and trying to get his thoughts together. We have Sinon. She's now done with her battle, and she like comes to Kirito, and she thinks that like he's out of it because of her first battle. So right now, she's kind of worried about him because obviously if that right there will like shake him up like this, then this right here is something that like that will never let him get to the finals. But we see now that like when she's walking away, Kirito stops her because obviously right now he's not in his right mindset. But right before he could tell her, because like when Sinon looks at him, she like sees herself, and so she was like wondering what was going on. But Kirito couldn't talk to her because he was like teleported to a next battle against some guy I believe called Ginkgo. And so we see now that like right off the bat, this guy here, he's not wasting no time, and he's like taking all of these shots. But like most of them were actually missing Kirito, but one did graze the cheek though. And now we see Kirito, like kind of snapping, and he just like rushes in there. And we see now that even though he is fighting recklessly, because we see these bullets, grazing him, he is still winning. Like his second battle, it was just so easy because he kind of won it and just like one slash after he got close to the guy. So it goes to show you that even though the energy swords are really not to be used like this, Kirito is definitely making work. But I will say that that this second fight, it was nowhere near as good as the first one. That first fight he had, it like that right there was a good battle, but this right here, it was just like way too easy for him. And that right there is something I don't like, because the fact that he won, and just like one slash and not really getting hurt, just taking those little grazes, that right there, like it goes to show you that like the guns in this world, they aren't really all that, even though people do use them. But like after he won, we see now that like Sinon, it was time for her battle because it was close, and we see now that the guy that like she was fighting, he was actually pretty smart, because this guy, I believe Sinon said that he used like a pistol, and because she's a sniper, when she misses, like when she misses that first shot, and if he gets in close enough to her, then it pretty much over for her. But this guy, I believe he like threw out some piece of the debris and made her like waste her first shot. And while she was reloading, he was like driving this Jeep. And I didn't even think they could use vehicles in these matches. So that right there, it was kind of like a nice little twist. But we see now that when he was driving and she was like reloading, she definitely knew that it would not be a good thing if he got out the car, because that right there, it would give her away. But because he was driving, he cannot see, like that red line that would tell you where the bullet will go. And so that right there, because he couldn't see it, she was actually able to get a headshot on him. And that right there was definitely impressive, because we see, like once this guy had disappeared, we see now that like the car itself crashed and blew up. And that right there was like definitely kind of funny. But now after Sinon had won, we see now that it's now her versus Kirito. And that right there was like definitely a fight I was looking for, but I didn't think it'd be so soon. But once the fight has started, now we see that they're definitely like on this broken down highway, but like most of the area is actually closed off. And so we see now that like Sinon here, she wanted to get some cover, obviously, because she is a sniper, and definitely would not do her any good for her to be out in the open. So she like went into like this broken down bus, and she was like hiding in that while she was like preparing her first shot. And we see Kirito, once he came in, like a fool, he actually walked right out into the opening. But that right there, really didn't matter, because we saw now that like Sinon, she was thinking that like Kirito was like looking down on her, that like he could dodge her bullet whenever he wants. And so because of that, he was like getting to her and really throwing her off her game, because she was like taking all these shots and not one of them would hit. And so eventually, she got fed up and she got off the bus. And when she confronted Kirito about, why he wouldn't, fight back, Kirito was like pretty much done. He was looking down on this fight, and that right there was an insult to her. But eventually, like thanks to her words and remembering what she said, Kirito here realized he was wrong, and he now wanted, another chance to fight her, to correct his mistakes, because he really was being a dick and not taking this seriously. So he actually got an idea. And so we see now that like when he pulls out his gun, Sinon does get pretty defensive, because obviously he could try something. And if this were here with like any other player, I'm pretty sure that they would have probably tried to pull some underhand kind of thing. Like maybe Kirito probably would have shot her with her guard down, or Sinon could have did the exact same thing. but we see now that Kirito actually want to kind of have like a duel off or a standoff where he would like throw up this bullet, and when it hit the ground, that right there is where they would begin. But of course, like they had to increase the distance between them, otherwise it wouldn't be fair. So Kirito had walked like 10 meters forward, and Sinon was like, even though if he does that, he's still gonna lose, because that right there is still that right there is pretty much a guaranteed hit. But she definitely knew that he was up to something, but she could not tell what it was. But now we see that when it starts off and she actually fires the bullet, we see now that like Kirito had cut it in half with no problem whatsoever, and that right there was awesome. And so now that she wasted her last bullet, she was like done for. And so we see that when like Kirito had like charged in there, he didn't even attack her because he already knew that he won. And so since he was that close, we see now that like Sinon, she was like backing away, and she almost tricked, but luckily Kirito did catch her. And so because of the way that he won and how easy it was for him, it was obvious that Kirito was strong. But like Sinon here, like Sinon was actually asking him, how did he become that strong? Because she wants to be that way. But like Kirito had like told her the truth, and like he kind of asked her, like similar questions that were like kind of about her past. So maybe like she will open up to Kirito and tell him what happened, because obviously Sinon cannot handle this alone, and she does need like some friend or support, and Kirito could like definitely be that guy for her, because she does want to get stronger, because in reality she's not that strong, but in this gaming world she's the strongest sniper that there is. So it goes to show you how imbalanced she is, and how important strength is to her, especially in reality. But now that like Kirito won, we have Sinon surrendering, but she did say that like next time that she won't lose. So it is possible that like later on, that like down the line in the series, we will get a serious match between them, because I would love that. But now that like Kirito won, we have everybody kind of shocked right now, and then we have Death Gun, like he's looking at the battle as well, and we have no idea what he's thinking, because obviously he didn't say anything. But like I said, the episode itself, it was good, and I enjoyed it. I just wish that battle between Kirito and Sinon could have been better. So overall, I'm going to give the episode probably a 7 out of 10. But of course, I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. And as always, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe, because it really helps me out. And you guys take it easy. I will see you all next time.